Okay, so welcome, a warm welcome to everybody for this webinar. We decided to conduct this webinar because many people have been asking us for guidance on higher study. And we at Catalyze, as you know very well, are a student-centric organization. We believe that the student is the center of the classroom and the teacher is the center of the education system. Over the last 17 years, we have fine-tuned the process of personalization and have been a guiding light for many students all over the globe to not only to find themselves in the process of learning, but also to find their goal, which is at the end of the day, high school qualifications is to get placed in a good university so that you're able to begin your career. So, in this context, we were getting a lot of inquiries, regarding this. So, we thought that it's a good way to share knowledge through a webinar. So, I just put together a small presentation, basically for the students. So, you can always take home whatever is there to your child as well. So, this is just a guide to different careers and higher study. So, what is a career? See, a career, in my view, is just a launch pad, you know, is a job or a profession that a person chooses to do for a long time and may require special training or education. So, people, of course, change careers these days, sometimes after 10 or 15 years, it happens. But in general, when you set yourself on a path, then many people follow the same path for many years because you get better at it and you get to higher positions in the same career. So for this, the important thing that we need to realize is that a person chooses to do. So you must be interested in what you're doing. So that is very, very critical. That is the first thing. And you must be interested in it for a long time. You must be willing to invest whatever is required for a long time for this purpose. And also, it requires a special training or education. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, because there's some power fluctuation here. Yeah. I am audible, right? Yeah. So, you need some special training or education to get there. So, this starts with a certain goal and a certain choice of subjects to reach that goal. So let us explore some different careers. A scientist. Scientists are like explorers who study and learn about the world around us. They ask questions and conduct experiments to discover new things. Doctor. Doctors are like health heroes. They help people when they are sick or hurt, and they know a lot about how our bodies work. Today, of course, there are new age careers, not the traditional doctor and engineer. In fact, I didn't even put engineer here. So I don't want the engineers in the call to get offended. It's because I got so many other options and I didn't want to prolong the slides too long. So I didn't include engineer. Of course, engineer is one of the top careers, which is well paying as well. Chefs. Now I find that a lot of kids these days, they like some offbeat careers like being a chef. In fact, some of my students, when I used to teach in a college in uh, Coimbatore, a couple of them are running very, very profitable businesses where they are making, fudges and pastries and, all sorts of gourmet stuff. So, when our child is interested in something, it's very important that we encourage that. And we come out of the traditional mindset of a few select careers which we always like to push our children to do. So, chefs are like food artists. They create delicious meals by combining different ingredients and using special techniques in the kitchen. Of course, there are space engineers like astronauts. A lot of kids today aspire for that. The journey here is pretty long, and you have to do your math and science very well. Astronauts are space adventurers who travel to outer space in special rockets. They explore the mysteries of the universe and sometimes even walk on other planets. How exciting is that? Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Some of the kids these days also want to become soldiers and officers. We know of a particular person who wants to write the UPSC exam, and get into a government job. We have a few um, army officers' wives with us who are teaching us, who belong to that community of being a soldier. We have a lot of musicians at Catalyze, who like to perform, and we also have a lot of sports people. Okay. As I mentioned, I have not included engineering because engineering is, of course, a very widely sought after field. I just thought that we must give the other options. So, what is your dream job? Can anybody tell me? What is your child interested in? Any of the parents who are attending the call?
Yes, ma'am. My child, she wants to do psychology, ma'am.
Okay, very good. It's a very
So,
much in demand, uh, you know, uh, job where counseling is become very important for youngsters as well as adults who are facing any problems or anything. So it's a great thing.
okay,
That's
ma'am.
great to know.
Thank
Swati,
you,
your
ma'am.
child, what is she interested in? He, she, or he?
She is interested in, ma'am, dance and sketching, but not sure what she will be doing it. But at present, she enjoys both the things doing.
Okay, okay. So the goal is not yet formed in her mind.
No,
Okay,
no, not
that's
yet.
okay. That's okay too. Yeah, Heba, I think you want to be a psychologist too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So there are different options available, but the key is to identify what you're interested in and what is your passion, and to see if you can make a lucrative career out of that. Because earning money is also equally important, you know. So, just a quick overview of the students at Catalyze, where all they have been placed. We have Kevin Swamy, who has been placed in Georgia Tech University, Ilan Kumaran in Delft, Tanav in Zurich, Abraham Nottingham, Ram Sagar in Texas A&M, Neil Mukhopadhyay in UCL, Priyam Tyagi, University of Cincinnati. So these are all students from Catalyze who got admission in world-class universities. Okay. There were a few questions that the parents had already posed in the questionnaire. Um, so I've just listed it down. If you have any further questions, I'll be very happy to discuss it. So one of the questions was, after the 10th grade, how to go further? How do I make my subject choices and choose a stream? Okay, this is a very, very valid question. As I already said, it is very important that you identify what your interest areas are. Because when you're trying to create something long term for yourself, if you don't have interest in it to sustain you long term, then it is not going to work. Okay. So it is very important that you identify what you're interested in and then work backwards. So one of the things, if you're not clear in your mind, if a student is not clear about their interests or passions, they have two or three areas which they would like to learn in, but they're not clear which one to choose. In such cases, we recommend what is called as a psychometric test. So a psychometric test is a personality test. There is no right or wrong answer. We have an online test where the student answers a set of questions, and based upon that, we are able to identify which are the strengths of the student, which are the areas where the students' interests lie in, and based on that, make some career recommendations. So, this is a very popular tool that is used to identify potential areas which the student could be looking at as a career option. Okay. Any questions about this? Any questions about psychometry?
Yeah, is this test held by some, you know, third-party agency, or does Catalyze
Yes,
help
we
you in
outsource
this?
it. It's an online test. So we outsource it, meaning we use their tool to get the test done. But the report analysis and the counseling, I personally do, sir.
Okay, thank you. Understood.
Any other questions? Okay, let me move on to the next question then. How do I choose a university to study? What is the criteria? What sets candidates apart from top grades? Okay, so this is a very valid question. So the first step, I would say, once you identify which is the path that you really want to take, then it is important that you choose or align your subjects starting from the ninth and 10th grade to align with that path. Because if suddenly in 11th and 12th you want to do something and you're not having the base in the ninth and 10th standard, it becomes complicated. A simple example I'll tell you. We had a student from Singapore who was in the IB curriculum and he wanted to do medicine. So he did not um, take any mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and suddenly his interest changed and he wanted to do engineering. So then he came to us for ninth and 10th grade mathematics and AS and A level mathematics, which he appeared as a private candidate to fulfill the requirement for engineering, right? So it's important that you have some idea when you're entering into the ninth grade itself so that we are able to curate your subject choices based upon what you want to study in college. Otherwise, we will have to backtrace and then do the prerequisite gap bridging later. Okay. So this is an example. Now, once you choose the subjects, then of course, till ninth and 10th grade, it's okay because you have a subject choice of, say, you have 5 subjects which you can choose. Suppose you have you're not clear whether you want to do engineering or you want to do medicine or you want to do psychology. For example, your subject choice could be math and English, which I recommend for most of the students. And you could do combined science, where in one subject, or coordinated science, in one subject you get all 3 sciences. And that is a dual credit subject. So you have math, you have English, and then you have coordinated science, which gives you 2 credits. And these will give you 4, this is equivalent to 4 subjects. And then the 5th subject, suppose you're saying that you don't know whether you want to do psychology or you might want to be in the business stream later. In such cases, the 5th subject can always be an exploratory subject like business or psychology or sociology. One of those subjects where you just want to explore, you want an exploration, wants an exposure in that subject, which you'll later decide after the 10th standard whether you want to pursue that subject or not. Okay. So in the UK international curricula, whether it is CAIE or EdExcel, the flexibility that is given for you to put together a mixture of subjects is very wide because there is no constraint. There's no constraint that you must only do this much in this group, in this much in that group. There's absolutely no constraint. So a student can even go up to 7 subjects and choose whatever he or she wants. But my recommendation always is you stick to the minimum of 5 subjects and you can always expose yourself to the 5th subject, which is based upon your, passion. You want to study this, but you don't know whether you want to take it as a career. That could always be an option. Okay. Any questions about this? Yes, Swati?
Ma'am, one thing, in maths and English, there is like option. There are 2 options, like English 1 and English 2, matlab, as in like a paper 1 and paper 2. and maths also has like a maths 1 and 2. Means I think it's the level of something like that. Suppose if my kid is taking English 2, matlab English as a second language, or I don't know, but it's like English 2, where I think the grading goes like the C is the, I think, maximum grading that it gets. So is it these two, suppose if English 2 and maths 2 can be also considered in that, means gives the equal value to it, or that they have to
See,
take
what you're referring to is not the papers. What you're referring to is core and extended. Say, for example, if you take mathematics, you have an option of attempting a core or an extended. A core is easier, where there are lesser number of topics in the subject. So, if a child is not very strong in mathematics, but you don't want to let go of the basic foundation for mathematics, which is very important till the 10th grade, in my opinion, okay, then you can go for core. We recommend core for students who are very weak in mathematics, or sports people who don't have the time to focus too much on studies. In such cases, we recommend a core. Yes, the highest grade you can score in a core is a C, but I have never seen that as a detriment to evaluating the student, because such students also don't take mainstream engineering or any of the other subjects which are emphasizing on mathematics, right? Okay, they go for softer subjects. So in such case, it really doesn't make a difference. So the core mathematics we are recommending only for the child to get a base in the mathematics, so that till 10th standard at least their math concepts, arithmetic concepts are clear, and they are able to kind of have that foundation, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, one more question, just ma'am. Suppose if a child wants to become what you say it, as a biologist or something like that. So in that way, she should be taking as a second maths and this thing, or the first, which is should be recommended.
How good is she in math?
It's a basic. Matlab, I won't say she's excellent. That's why
which
we joined for the maths only for Catalyze.
which
So
grade is she in right now?
grade 7.
Okay, there is still a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to make the decision now. What you need to be doing now is strengthening her basics in the subject. Okay.
Okay.
So once you've come to us, we will take care of all that. We do the gap identification, and then if any basic concepts need to be brushed, we brush up the basic concepts and then build on it. Sometimes we have even gone back 2 grades. If a child is struggling in a particular topic, we know where the foundation was. It was in the 6th grade or the 7th grade. We go and brush that up, and then only come to the 8th grade topics. As an example, I'm saying.
Okay.
So uh, you don't have to make the decision now. Give her time, because if she's really willing to, the basic thing is the fear of mathematics has to be removed. Okay. And once she learns that, see, math is all about practice. It is all about practice. There is absolutely no magic. Nobody is a Ramanujam. Okay. It is just that the child needs to set her mind to practice and work it out. 30 minutes of math, if she diligently does every day, and makes sure that our whatever worksheets we are giving are returned back, the assessments are taken on time. We have seen children improve by leaps and bounds, you know. So 7th grade is actually an ideal grade to start that, because you're 1 grade before the 8th grade. 8th grade is when a lot of the foundational concepts in mathematics are introduced. And if 8th grade your child is not done well, building on 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th becomes very complicated.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a good idea that you've come to us in the 7th grade. Make sure that she is working at least 30 minutes of math every day.
Okay.
Anyway, when we will have a separate discussion on this,
Sure.
as part of the PTM and all that. But what I'm trying to say here is that math is not rocket science. It is just a question of, you know, understanding the concept, applying it diligently, and working. I'm telling you from personal experience. I always tell my students my story. I used to be very bad in math. Okay. But later, when I went to do my PhD, I was forced to do calculus because it was one of the prerequisites for my course. I will not get my degree without it. And then I made up my mind and I said, I'm going to ace this course. And I worked towards it. And I did very well. So the point here is that the child needs to understand the importance of the subject, needs to be willing to work with it in an open mind. And we as educators, when we provide the right conditions to remove the fears and make her feel comfortable, she will automatically start doing well. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Shall I move on to the next question then? So, how to choose a university to study? So, in this point, I also said that how do I, first is the subject choice, right? So, you need to be able to identify what is the subject and area of study. Once you have identified that, then you need to see which country you want to study. Because every country has its own way of evaluating students for admission. So, are you planning on higher study in India or are you planning on higher study abroad? If it is abroad, then is it USA, UK, Europe, Australia? Every country has its own system. Now, that is a very specific area which I can take on a one-on-one counseling call if anybody is interested, because that will really depend upon which country we are shortlisting. But there are some general guidelines on university choosing. Never go for the top universities always, because they are highly, highly competitive. So if you have to get into the top 5% of UK or top 5% of USA, you must have 3 A stars, or 2 A stars and an A. Okay. So such universities are very, very competitive to get in. It's not that I'm not saying that children cannot do it, but you must have a variety of variety of the universities in your portfolio, so that you're increasing the chances of your child getting in somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to take USA as an example because I like to talk about US colleges and admission. It's a very competitive, environment in the US as well. But many of the kids who come to me, they say they want to study in Harvard and MIT. Okay. In which case I tell them that's a very tall order. You're going to be competing with the top 5% or top 2% of the entire world. And I'm not sure that that is really going to give you, what learning that you're looking for actually. Okay. So your portfolio, I'm not saying you should not apply to Ivy League. You can apply to 1 or 2 Ivy Leagues, but when you're showcasing your picking your universities to apply, you must have a list of about 10 to 12 universities, out of which 2 can be Ivy League. Beneath that, 3 to 4 universities must be at 30% acceptance rate. 3 to 4 universities must be at 50 to 60% acceptance rate. And the rest must be at more than 70% acceptance rate. That way, you are identifying which universities will work for you. And for sure, in this list, somewhere your child will get in. And just because a university is more than 70% acceptance rate does not mean that they don't have the standard or the quality. Some of the universities are rated, they may come in the top 100 or top 200, but the department that the child wants to go to may be very highly ranked, maybe in the top 10%. So that also you need to check. Okay. So that is how you put a portfolio of universities together. Never put all your eggs in one basket, because then the chances of you coming out successful may be reduced. Okay, because at the end of the day, we don't control what the admissions officers are looking at. But I'll also give you an idea what the admissions officers look for. Okay, so now coming to the next question, what is the criteria? So what is the criteria? What sets candidates apart? Yes, somebody raised their hand. Yeah, Swati.
Ma'am, what about India?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Let me just finish the USA train and then I'll talk about India. Okay.
Okay.
So, so what is the criteria? They don't just look only for grades. Okay. They look for whether the child has given any community service, Does the child have any leadership qualities? Meaning, have they headed any club or have they done any, uh, you know, uh, taken up any leadership position in school or outside? It doesn't matter. Do they have any extracurriculars like music or sport or art? You know, so all of this goes into the exams officers deciding. And now in India also, SAT has been introduced as a common test, not just in the US. So your SAT scores also matter. So out of 1600, if you score above 1450, it is considered a good score. Okay. So that all these factors are considered. In addition to that, the recommendation letters, everything matters. What sets candidates apart from top grades? That's what I just mentioned. You have to put together a very good portfolio. Okay. What are the undergraduate study options abroad? How do I create my university profile? I think this question, how do I create my university profile, I've answered. But instead of undergraduate study options abroad, I'll talk about undergraduate study options in India. So in India, of course, we know that there are premier institutions, like if you're looking at engineering, we know that there are the IITs and then the NITs and then BITS and VIT and all of those technological institutes, which are fairly good. If you're looking at liberal arts, there are a lot of new colleges like Kriya, Flame, of course, Ashoka. Ashoka is very highly ranked for liberal arts. So, Swati, what is your question about India? Can you be more specific so that I can give you a more specific answer?
Suppose like if my child has to apply for the colleges in India, so then is it like as a private candidate, no, does India, because I remember when I had last conversation with Sanjay sir, then he told us that in India it is still a bit tough to get colleges admissions for the private students like that.
Not for
So
NIOS. NIOS is recognized
no,
by
no, but
AIU.
the Cambridge I'm talking, ma'am, Cambridge thing.
You can
Suppose,
always go for Edexcel, and we have a tie up with a school where you can designate your child as an in school candidate.
okay,
But you have to come to Chennai to write the exam.
okay,
That's the only catch.
okay.
Uh, then you don't get the private candidate tag on your certificate.
What about the other universities in India? Matlab, is it not easy to apply there? Do they don't accept the Cambridge students?
It's not about Cambridge. It's about private candidature for international curricula, which AIU has not given equivalence. They don't give equivalence for private candidates from international curricula. So that is a government norm. But in case of many of the students, we are seeing that they are getting admission, but that is very informally done. When we contact the universities and ask for any formal identification, they don't give it. So I'm not able to say with confidence to my clients that we know that our kids have been admitted into VIT, into Christ, SRM, all of this we know, you know but we are not able to say, because suddenly if some norm changes and they refuse admission, it will become a problem. You understand?
Okay,
So NIOS is recognized. You can even write NEET and IIT JEE with it. And it's a very good curriculum. Many of the parents have this hang up in their mind that only special kids go to NIOS. That is not true. Okay. That is not at all true. It is a good curriculum which you can think of as an option. The other option, if you want your child to remain in international curricula, then I told you that we can designate the child as an in-school candidate provided they take the exam in a particular center. Okay. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Sanjay.
Yeah. Good evening, Swati ma'am. This is regarding that conversation which you had with me.
Yes, sir.
What I was actually trying to tell you there is that the AIU, which is not actually, neither are they saying that we will accept the private candidature, nor we will not accept it for Cambridge students. You know, So the education board, they are still in a dilemma, but they are not openly agreeing to it. So that was what I was trying to explain to you
Yeah,
on this particular.
correct. So what should, as a parent, we should do? Should we like shift from Cambridge to NI, national
Yeah,
school, open
that
schooling?
is foolproof, Swati. That is foolproof. But if
Okay,
you don't mind coming and writing the exam in Chennai, then this option is also foolproof because we have recommended it to many kids and they have all got good certificates with the center name and it's sailed. So no problem.
okay,
You
okay,
know? So these are the two options that we have. And NIOS is a very good curriculum. But you should think if you want your child to be in Cambridge or international, edexcel is what we are saying. If you
okay.
have to, opt for the second option, you'll have to do edexcel. Edexcel is also a UK international curriculum, which gives you the same qualifications as IGCSE, AS, and A level. Okay. And it is recognized all over the world, recognized in India also. No problem.
So does the books and everything changes or it remains the same?
It'll change. Books will change.
Okay,
But that's a decision you can make when you're entering the ninth.
yeah. Okay,
You don't
still,
have to worry about it now. You still have 2 years. You can educate your child in CAIE up to 8th standard checkpoint and then switch to edexcel. It's not a very big jump, you know,
okay.
because that's also an application based curriculum and your child is already trained in CAIE, right? So making that shift is not very hard, is my point. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sanjay?
No, in fact, the new age universities like Ashoka and other people are more open. I don't think so. They have a inhibition taking a private candidature from CAI people.
Yeah, but we can't guarantee, Sanjay. Don't make such blanket statements.
Exactly. But
Because suddenly they will say we don't take, this time we are not taking. I don't want to get into
it
that. I
again
think,
depends on the AIU again because
yeah.
they are the controlling bodies for all these universities. Yeah.
So suddenly they may say this intake we are not taking, so I don't want to, it's better to play by the rules. Yeah. So, just for the information of the parents here, that we are also lobbying with AIU through our Cambridge International head in India. Okay. So, many of the online schools are lobbying with them for changing this particular clause. But as usual, I think it's a lot about other things than education. Yeah. Yes.
And also, you can probably inform them that we are applying for the EdExcel.
Yes. Yeah. We are applying for edexcel accreditation as an online school. Yeah. So, yeah, so Swati, like I said, your child can study in 8th till CAIE. And then if
Okay,
you wish to take the edexcel route, ninth and 10th, you can go for edexcel and the only inconvenience is you have to come to Chennai and write the exam. In
okay,
which case, higher study in India is not an issue. Okay.
okay,
One of our kids has also appeared for the NEET with it.
okay,
So, no issue. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, what sets candidates apart? Okay, that I finished. Undergraduate study options, university profile, I finished. Opportunities to develop skills as per child's aptitude. This was a question a parent had posed. Yeah, but I think I don't know who posted this question. Hema, is that parent in the call? Can you just check that? Check the list.
Just 1 minute, ma'am.
I don't think that parent is in the call. Anyway, to answer that question, aptitude building can be done in many ways. Maybe by introducing, you know, brain teasers or puzzles at an early stage, working with your child to crack the IMOs and the IEOs. Um, So it depends on what kind of aptitude we're trying to build. That is why I asked whether the parent is online to ask the question. Hema? No.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just checking the responses sheet. Just
In the meantime, are there any other questions? Anything else that you would like me to answer? Because I've gone through the list that was shared in the registration form. But if there are any further questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Ma'am, if possible, is it possible to share good universities like you mentioned? No, different kind of universities we need to apply instead of setting to the top universities. If you have handy available, because anyhow we need to search in the web itself. If you
Which
already
country, ma'am?
available,
Which country?
Europe we are trying them because anyhow she is going to appear in SAT next month. So based on the score, anyhow US, but I felt scholarship the fee structure is too high for US. We felt so I want to see some European things, and in that we do means we need to see what is the ranking and all. No, so if you have readily available university list, then it will be a great help for us.
You're looking at BSc psychology, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Okay, I'll get back to you. Yeah,
yeah,
through Ramya,
sure.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, anyhow, right now she is in 11th. She is going to 12th now. So
Yeah, but
next
it's
year
time
time is there.
no, for you to package and
Yeah,
put
yeah, correct,
everything
ma'am.
together. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Ramya, are you there in the call? Ramya Raghu?
Okay, ma'am. I'll reach out to Ramya. Anyhow, I
No,
have
it's
her
okay.
contact.
I just want her to note it and follow through with me. That's why.
Okay, okay,
Um, sure. Miss Hemalata can also note it down. Yeah.
okay.
Hema, just make note of this and pass it on to Ramya, and
okay.
we'll work on it and get back to her.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Any other queries? So I just want to tell you that, many of these aspects we are already doing as part of Catalyze. For example, we coach is our vertical where we cater to competitive exams like SAT, ACT, AP, IIT, JEE, NEET, UCAT. And we counsel is a vertical where we are doing the psychometric assessment and taking counseling sessions to plan the career path for a child. We School, of course, is our online school, and we teach is our after school support program, and we code is our vertical where we offer coding, computer coding. So, just taking this opportunity to place this thought in your mind that this is a place where you get the complete service, end to end service for all aspects of education. Yeah, Swati?
Hello, ma'am. Can you just tell me more, a little bit of V School and V Code? Is it V School is like sort of like a proper online school with the whole course of a particular grade, or it is just the subject wise? And second, the V Code is for which grade? Starts
We
from which
School
grade?
is our Cambridge and Edexcel online school where we have children from grade 1, and
Okay.
all of our classes are live, interactive, one on one, structured to the learner. So we like to identify learning gaps in learners and provide what is required for that learner to do well. Uh, because our classes are one on one, we also have other ways. See, many of the kids who come to us are either focusing on some other aspect, like, for example, musicians or sports kids, you know. So they have their own community where they get their interaction. And recently, we have also launched Catalyze clubs where we are planning to bring in that interaction with children through our math clubs, literary clubs, history club, economics club, etc. To name a few, there's a whole list of clubs. And they appear for Cambridge as well as Edexcel as private candidates. Up to the 8th grade, the evaluation is internal, meaning we evaluate the learner. And we follow the Cambridge system or the Edexcel system for the primary as well as the secondary. Then in the upper secondary, the 9th and 10th integrated, we prepare them for the final exam, the board exam.
Okay. And what about the V code? It starts from which grade?
Any grade. We've got children who have learned from us even from second grade, third grade. So there we will start with the basic concepts of coding. And then if a child is really good in coding, we even introduce basic Python to them at a young age. Yeah.
Okay.
Regarding those questions, ma'am, both the parents are not here with us.
Yeah. That's okay. So because I needed to know what kind of aptitude they are developing. That's why. Otherwise, it's a very broad question, just saying aptitude. There are different kinds of aptitude. Otherwise, I think I'm done with my points. If there's anything for anybody to ask, Mr. Amit or Swaminathan, Swati, Heba, any questions?
No, I'm not really.
Yeah. So tell me. Yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah.
this is Amit here. So I'm based in Singapore. So I kind of, heard a bit of the query. So I've got two kids. My elder one is just passing out IB. She's probably going to end up going to Europe for doing, something in business. So the career path for my children has been that we started them with, CBSE, then we put them into Cambridge, and then for the elder one, we went IB route. For my younger one who's studying with you is probably going to be the Cambridge route. So I just want to put out if any of the parents, need some of our help, I'm more than happy to, uh, through you guys, go and give them my inputs. We kind of went through, the last 4 years, quite a bit of learning curves ourselves. My elder child was my experiment child because for us going to Cambridge was a huge learning curve coming that I have a background in CBSE and that's what we knew. So I'm happy to, help any parents getting some understanding, clarity, also the university selections and all pretty fresh in our mind. So more than happy, to do that.
Yeah, sure. That's very kind of you, Mr. Amit. So if anybody asks and wants the parental view, not the educator's view, we'll definitely put them on to you. Yeah.
Yeah, happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So any other points I'd be happy to address? Anything else? Anything else the team wants to talk about because some of our coordinators are there in the call? Any thoughts come to you, Hema or Ilakya? Any thoughts? Garima?
No, ma'am, nothing from my end.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, great. So in that case, I think we had quite an informative session. And thank you all for making the time to come and, attend the session. If there is any doubt or any, point which you need clarity, Hemalata, of course, is an expert, much more than me sometimes in curriculum, I think. But if you really need a broader perspective about some kind of, you know, uh, inputs, or you need to have clarity on certain things, you can always ask for Sanjay sir's or my time. There's absolutely no problem. We can step in and address your queries. At the end of the day, your child's future is the most important for us. Yeah. We have worked on this principle for many years and we have stood the test of time because of that. And we take pride in our student success. In fact, recently, I think last week, we got a call from a student who contacted a coordinator who was no longer with us. She sent me the message and she said that, ma'am, this particular student wants to start teaching for Catalyze. Can you believe it? She took classes from us 6 or 7 years ago, and now she has finished her uh, undergraduation and she wants to come back as a teacher. It was such a proud moment for me. that we had made a lasting impression in that child's mind, right? So that is something which we really treasure. Yeah. So thank you for listening and have a great day and evening ahead. Thank you.